Hello, okay, so in this video I'm going to go over how the directory structure for the website works. So in order to access the server, you have to SSH into the Amazon EC2 instance with the correct access key. That would be this file right here, apousc key pair.pim. I'm going to pass this on to you when the transfer happens, but for now just remember to keep it safe and not to upload it anywhere, because with this key pair file, they'll be able to access the server and make any changes to it as you would be able to. So you would SSH into it, and then the default directory is the home directory, which has nothing within it. You have to change directory into a hidden directory /var/www/apousc, and then here you will find all the files for the website. And then if you change directory and go back one layer, you see that there's two files here, two folders, apousc.org and HTML. I don't think there's anything in HTML. It should just be the default index and info.php that comes by default, but just remember to make any changes, you want to change into the apousc directory and make any changes here. And so the way that this file structure works is that each page that you load is contained within a folder. And so if you see here, this is the main page that I created a couple months ago. The URL says apousc.org/main, and if you check here, there is a main folder, a subfolder within apousc.org. So if you change into it, you will see all these different files: history, index.html, highlights, etc. So you don't see /main/index.html because this page, the website loads this page by default. But all these other files, all these other HTML files, etc., if you change to it, you will see the other pages. So history.html, you'll see it here. That's not right. Let's pretend that that's correct. And so yeah, if you see here again, main service.html, it just navigates to the correct file within the subfolder and loads it and stuff. So if you go back to the apousc directory, if you'll see that there are all these different folders. So each one of these folders corresponds to a different part of the website. As I showed you earlier, the main folder corresponds to the main website that the non-APO members see when they visit and can scroll around and check the different stats and the pictures of everyone being happy and doing service. And then, for example, here the members folder contains all the different pages that members can access, including alumni newsletter, calendar.php, contact, event page, home.php, which is this page right here when you log in by default, index.php, process, user edit, etc. What did I want to show you? And so if you look here on the sidebar, you'll see that under your name there's a home page, eBoard tools, because right now I'm on eBoard, information, roster. So each of these has their own corresponding folders. In here, if you'll see, eBoard tools will be within eBoard, information will be under information, and rosters will be under rosters. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the different resource folders within the server. Some of these might seem pretty familiar to you, including CSS and images for CSS style files and just pictures respectively, but some of these might be kind of unfamiliar. For example, the include folder, testing, and vendor. So testing is just this random ass folder I made for files that I haven't really completely finished implementing yet, so they're there until I finish working on them. Vendor is used for the automatic email system, which is Mailgun, I think. Yeah. So I'm not gonna explain that right now. So include is actually just a folder full of PHP files that are used by multiple pages. Um, like how one page might be drawing from the same CSS element, or might be drawing images from the same folder. Oftentimes multiple web pages will need the same resources. Like for example, you would see that on every page on the members part of the website, you would see this large banner, and then you would see this like little footer here, as well as this sidebar, no matter which page you're at. So this so that's kind of what the include page is for. It has this header portion, this sidebar, and this footer that they kind of insert on every page. You'll see here header, sidebar, footer, drop down panel, .php, and top nav. So these are just resources that are used by every page. And then include analytics.php. This is for Google Analytics. I made it so that it's loaded on every page. I'll talk about Google Analytics in a different video. But yeah. So you might be wondering how the different pages access all these sources if they're in these little subfolders, and that's through the use of symlinks. So if you see these folders within the information subfolder that says image, include, JS, CSS, these are actually just subfolders. These not subfolders. These are just symlinks to the original files. That's why they're in green. These are not like another copy of this. So what a symlink is that it's basically a redirection from the current directory to another directory. So you'll see here CSS is actually going back one directory into the CSS folder. So it will back out from information back to apousc.org, and then go into the CSS folder here and draw from there. And the same thing goes for image, include, JS, etc. And so the main thing, the main point of these symlinks is just for organizational reasons, same as earlier. But in case any of these ever break, like if you don't have the image folder symlink here, it's not gonna work because the like this page isn't gonna load. It's gonna be a white screen because the code in it refers to the CSS folder. You would have to just check the README. I've included documentation on how to remake all the symlinks required for a subfolder. Now, if you were to download the GitHub repository on your own device and set it up there, you might have to do the same thing. Yeah, you might have to set up the symlinks on your own device as well. Is there anything else I have to talk about? Okay, so next I'm gonna cover how you're actually going to make changes to a website. Let's say you want to make some changes to this page, home.php. Maybe you want to change this from announcements to new chapter comments or something. And so in order to do that, you have to navigate to the correct folder, locate the correct file. Home.php is right here. And so now you might be thinking, how would you change this file? Normally, if this was on your own computer, you would just open it with Sublime, but it doesn't work here because this file isn't actually on your computer. None of these are. So when you SSH into something, you are accessing a remote computer through your terminal. If you see here, this is different from what you would see on your own computer. This is the Ubuntu server running on Amazon's servers. So in order to actually update the website, I know of 3 methods. There might be more, 2 of which I use, and the third one I haven't really messed with. So the first method is really direct. You can just open it with like a command line terminal editor, like Vim or Nano. So just Vim into the appropriate file, and you can edit it this way. But I find this really annoying, and it's really not scalable for larger pages that have like a couple thousand lines of code. So I usually just edit it on my own computer. If you'll see here, I also have a copy of the website here. This is because, oh fuck, yeah. Anyways, this is because this whole directory is a GitHub repository that I link with a GitHub account, which you'll get here. Actually, right now it's under me. But yeah, all the files are on GitHub except for the secure contents file, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But yeah, usually what I would do is I would make changes on my own computer, and then I'll push the update to the repository and then go into the website and go into the server, and then just kind of git pull and get all the changes this way. And so that's method number 2, just using Git repository. It's really easy. You're probably familiar with it if you take any CS classes before. And then the third method is using something called FileZilla. I think it's like a secure file transfer program between IPs. I haven't really messed with it before. Okay, and so I guess now for some closing comments. If you are like me and not very familiar with MySQL or PHP or a lot of the other technologies that the website uses, this might be very daunting, might be very scary, it might be a lot to take in, but you have the time right now to kind of go over the website slowly, explore the code, explore how the files interact with each other, and how the code interacts with the technology that it uses, be it AWS or Google Analytics or the email system. So just spend like some of your summer, some of your winter break, depending which semester you're in, and take the time to get to know the technology. It will really pay off. Soon you'll realize that you understand the whole technology stack enough that you'll be able to do what you want and know the limits of what you can and what you cannot do. And by that time, you know, maybe you decide that the current structure of the website is pretty shit and you want to remake it, or you want to switch away from PHP and maybe move to a more considerably modern solution, like setting up like a LAMP stack, not LAMP stack, making like a learn stack, you know, using MongoDB, setting up like Node.js and using React to make the website pretty and everything. Well, then go for it. As a webmaster, you have a lot of power over the website. You can do whatever you want. So it's really up to your personal interpretation on how far you want to take your role. But yeah, have fun with it. Like, this is kind of scary, but you have your previous webmasters to get help from if you're really confused about anything. So yeah, we're all here for you.